Hey guys, this is Camfrey15. I am back at it with another video for you guys, and I am back with another Clippers game recap as our Los Angeles Clippers beat Doc Rivers in his return to Clipperland by the score of 122 to 112 in a very impressive game from our man, Terrance Mann. So yeah, let's get into this freaking game because this game was freaking fantastic. I enjoyed this game from top to bottom, and one of the reasons why I enjoyed this game is Terrance Mann, which we'll get into later. Now, obviously, this was the return of Doc Rivers to the Clippers side of Los Angeles. Even though he's already, I guess you can say, he already returned back to Los Angeles, but it was his return to Los Angeles in the form against playing the Clippers. But highly very anticipated game. I wish this was a game where fans were able to go to. I wish in a perfect world there was no pandemic, because if it was a packed house, I guarantee you it'd probably be a mixture of cheers and boos. Cheers for what Doc Rivers has done in the past for the team, and boos for what this man recently did to us by screwing us over out of a title. Despite some players not showing up at the time, but I will always say, you can check out my videos from some of the first few videos I made about this team. I said Doc Rivers cost the Clippers in the bubble because he didn't make no adjustments. Anyways, like I said, Doc Rivers will forever be a piece in Clippers history that going forward, you can say, especially if this team wins a championship down the road, hopefully if the fucking Brooklyn Nets, I don't know, somehow choke that chance away, which, again, if the Brooklyn, look, my thing before to talk about Doc Rivers and stuff like that in history he has with the Clippers. The Brooklyn Nets do not win a freaking championship this year. They should be ridiculed worse than when the Clippers blew the 3-1 lead to the Nuggets. They have Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Kevin Durant, Blake Griffin, and now LaMarcus Aldridge. One, I don't know why Adam Silver's not vetoing anything from happening. Adam Silver should veto any player going to Brooklyn. Like, make them call up one of their G League players. Like, these guys are picking up dudes off the street and they're just going there just to chase rings. I love me Blake Griffin, but he went there to chase rings. LaMarcus Aldridge is the same way too. And I'm like, so there's going to be no competitiveness. We're back in the super team era. Great. It was sure great when it was the duo era. This is why I said last year the Clippers missed their chance to win a chip. If we had already gotten the chip, I wouldn't be fretting too much about the freaking Nets. I'd be like, well, we already got our championship. I don't care. But if the Nets somehow either losing the playoffs or losing the finals, I'm just going to say this. They should be ridiculed. Hold on a second. Okay, sorry for that. My dog was in the background freaking barking like a freaking maniac. Anyways, yeah, they should be ridiculed if they lose. Anyways, going back to Doc Rivers, he will be an important part of Clippers history for the right and the wrong reasons in Clipper history. And, we remember him getting us, out of the bowels of the Donald Sterling fiasco and stuff like that, and being a great motivator, a great leader for this team going forward, making it an attractable, destination for players to come and want to play for him. And we all know, he had his low points where he blew 2-3-1 leads with the Clippers in two different eras twice. And again, like I said, I will forever treasure Doc Rivers as the Clippers head coach for the years he was here. But at the same time, I will be thankful that it was time for him to go after what happened last year and stuff like that. So, yeah. But it was a return. Obviously, this game started off pretty slow for the Clippers. You had Tobias Harris going off. I was like, oh, great. I hope Tobias Harris doesn't kill us. He has his revenge game against us. We were very slow. It was getting to the point where it was like getting to the point back and forth. Like there was a point where in the game, early in the first, we were down like 10-4. I'm like, oh God, here we go. But then the Clippers, fought back. They made the game. Sometimes it would get to a point where it was like, oh, we would be down by 3 or 2 points 76ers go down, hit a bucket. Eventually caught up and we tied them and stuff like that. And, we managed to, once we took the lead, we managed to hold on to that lead by the time, the half happened. And we managed to maintain the lead and we did a pretty good job. Can I also just say this? The third quarter was freaking atrocious with the foul calls. And honestly, that was probably one of the longest third quarters I have watched in my life when it comes to NBA basketball. Like the refs, Tony Brothers and his freaking crew chiefs of referees were just, I can't whistle, sorry. But they were blowing their whistles like crazy. And I'm like, dude, can we just stop with the whistle blowing? Like, I need, like, there was a point in the game, it was like only 5 minutes. And I'm like, why? I'm like, bruh, it's 5 minutes in the third quarter, and it feels like the quarter should already be over by now. I feel like that third quarter extended the game probably by like an extra hour with how many foul calls it was. Like literally both teams were in the bonus by like the 7 or 8 minute mark in the quarter. And I'm like, dog, this is freaking terrible. So yeah, that whole thing. Obviously, like I said, Tobias Harris, he was killing us in the first half, really. And then in the third quarter, he didn't show up, surprisingly. He didn't do much of anything. And he didn't do much of anything in the fourth quarter. He tried to somewhat, when the game was still a game, tried to will the 76ers back in. But by the time he was actually hitting shots, it was already too late and stuff like that. Danny Green, he was pretty good. He was pretty good for the 76ers. He was hitting some pretty nice three-point shots. 17 points. Ben Simmons, 15 points. Ben Simmons, listen, he wasn't doing much. To me, he was obviously a game factor, but he didn't really have much of an impact in the game, mostly because he got into foul trouble. And I was glad that when the Clippers, made sure to get, when he had his fourth foul, they went at him and they made him pick up his fifth foul. And then, obviously, Ben Simmons was not careful enough and he picked up an offensive foul that gave him his sixth foul and he fouled out. And he went to go join Dwight Howard, in the showers, which I find it hilarious that Dwight Howard in both Los Angeles games got ejected. And essentially, Dwight Howard had 9 points. He had 11 rebounds, which he was killing us on the boards from time. But what ended up happening with him getting ejected this time is he got a technical foul, and essentially it was just over complaining about the technical foul, and then the refs just said, go to the shower. And yeah, he was gone. Most of the bench for the 76ers really didn't show up. Really, Shake Milton, who had 16 points, was the only guy from the bench that did worth, if any, did, I guess, the most for them in the bench. Thank God the Clippers didn't let that clown have 40 points like last time. I don't remember, but I remember the infamous, Sunday or Saturday Shake Milton game. I remember that just like yesterday when the... Okay, back. Sorry for that quick, obnoxious cut. I don't know what's going on. But as I was saying, the whole Shake Milton game, really, thank goodness they didn't have that happen. Mike Scott, good God, how was Mike Scott freaking starting? Like, good. This man was 1 of 6, did nothing for them. Like, every shot he shot was missed. Steph Curry, the same Steph Curry that killed us in the bubble when he played for the Mavericks. 7 points, 3 of 7 from the field. So Doc's son-in-law didn't kill us this time. Good. Now, as for the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard, he had a surprisingly quiet 28 points. Like, no lie, he had a really quiet 28 points. 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Marcus Morris had 13 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. Pretty good. Zubac in 21 minutes had 7 points, 11 boards. So he was really good on the boards, and he was really, out-rebounding most of these 76ers players. Again, showing Doc, hey, Doc, you probably should have played me because I'm a freaking rebounding threat. Oh, and he did play some pretty important fourth quarter minutes. So, yeah. I did like the one part where he wasn't backing down from Ben Simmons and he pushed him out the way. He's like, bro, get the fudge out of here. I really did like that. So obviously tough. Reggie Jackson had a pretty solid game, 12 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists. Paul George, again, I would say I would say like Kawhi had a quiet 24 points. It was 8 of 18. Really good game from him. He almost had a triple double. He had 9 rebounds and 9 assists. So obviously he came out and played. He was very slow to start off the game, and then he just turned it on really in that fourth quarter, and stuff like that, and a little bit in the third quarter as well. Nicholas Batum had 7 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, being the Nicholas Batum he was productive. Patrick Patterson, he played fine for what it's worth. 3 points, 2 assists. That's kind of it. Luke Kennard, he had 7 minutes in this game, but we didn't really need Luke Kennard. He had 3 points. He hit a three in this game. So yeah. No, he didn't hit a three. He had one basket, and I don't know where he picked up the three. I think that's wrong. No, he only had 2 points by my recollection, unless he went to the free throw line late in the game. So yeah, Luke Kennard, he didn't do much, but hey, it's fun what it is, because there was really no point in playing him because you had Terrance Mann stealing the show tonight, and Terrance Mann is obviously, I can say, our player of the game for the Clippers tonight. And he had 23 points, 10 to 12 from the field. At the one point, he was literally like 10 for 10. He had hit 2 3-pointers, had 3 rebounds, and 1 assist. And Terrance Mann, again, is growing before our eyes, ladies and gentlemen. He is growing, and he is definitely developing into a fine player. Like, he's doing a pretty solid job on defense. Again, sometimes he can be a little aggressive, where in one case in this game, he fell for a pump fake by Shake Milton, and he fouled him and stuff like that. But he really is taking ownership, and he really is, taking the opportunity to get himself better. And he really is developing into a young player. And you can thank Dan Craig, Chauncey Billups. You can even, to a certain extent, will be able to even thank Rondo, as much as the chagrin of all the reporters, the Clippers reporters that are hating the Rondo moves, which I'll get into in a quick second, and stuff like that. And he really came out and he showed out and he played. Essentially, and I made a tweet saying, Terrance Mann to Doc Rivers, and essentially him flipping the bird to him. That's what he was essentially doing. He was balling in front of Doc Rivers' face, essentially telling him, you should have played me, because guess what? I was actually a pretty good player, which again is another reason why I said in my Doc Rivers got fired video, one of the reasons why he got fired is he never developed or he never played in the young guys. I've always advocated we should have some youth with some veteranship in this game. So guess what? You improve your chances for the future when Kawhi and Paul George's time is up with the Clippers. You have something next to go into the next era of Clippers basketball that looks promising. And you're like, you know what? This is where we can start over again and try to make this an attractive place. And I like Terrance Mann taking the ownership of himself. I really do. I'm very, very much proud of this dude. Like, he's getting the minutes he rightfully deserves. And the more he plays good, the more he deserves the playoff minutes in those big moments. Not really like down the stretch, but in certain moments, you can say, you know what? Put Terrance Mann in a playoff game. He'll be aggressive enough to get you some points. So I did like the fact that he was really doing a good job. I like the way he defends, and he's essentially like another Patrick Beverley for us, if I'm being honest. He's really taken advantage of his opportunities when it comes to hitting shots, pushing the pace and everything. And he's a good rebounder, and a pretty solid defender. He's not the best. He's definitely not Patrick Beverley level defender, but he's getting better with his defense, and you can clearly see he's worked on that. You can thank Patrick Beverley, and heck, even when Rondo comes in, you'll be able to thank him more, because Rondo will definitely help him out with his growth as well and stuff like that. Now, one I will say, when this team is freaking fully healthy, my God, watch out. This team looks freaking dangerous. And it's like I said in my Hawks game recap, that game was the point in the season where you're like, okay, it's time to flip the switch. It's time to get serious. It's time to get into this playoff mode. and we've won 5 games in a row after the Hornets game. And since then, we've looked impressive doing it. We beat finally have a quality win against a team, even though this team was missing Embiid. Still, the team's pretty formidable with Tobias Harris and Ben Simmons still in charge. Now, I still want to see, Embiid, hopefully the next time we play the 76ers in Philadelphia, Embiid's back by then, and stuff like that. But again, we have a tough home stretch where we're playing some pretty, we're playing playoff caliber teams going forward. So the next one up is the Milwaukee Bucks, which I really want that game back because we had the Bucks in Milwaukee. If we just had executed late in that game, we would have beat those clowns. So yeah. Definitely can't wait for Patrick Beverley to get back. That man was I don't care. I made a tweet in this game too. I was talking about how Patrick Beverley's walking all over the court, and I'm like, this guy is fine, dude. He has no sore knee. He's 100% healthy. He's fine. They're just sitting him just to sit him. Now, some Clipper fans will tell me, well, maybe that's probably for the better. The team's on a roll, and they probably don't want him getting hurt. Fine. That's fine by me. But he better be playing close to where before the playoffs start to give him some minutes. I think the Clippers might have to put that cat on a minutes restriction regardless because that guy gets hurt frequently too much. Honestly, I feel like he's only a few more injuries away from being traded from the Clippers because if you look at it, Doc's gone, Harrell's gone, Lou's gone now. It's only a matter of time before the front office eventually is getting tired of Patrick Beverley's injuries catching up with him and be like, you know what, you're on an expiring contract. Goodbye. Good riddance. Maybe they'll trade him to Chicago like they did with Lou. Traded him to his home, state. Maybe they'll trade him to Chicago as a way, hey, go retire in your home, thing or stuff like that or whatever. But we'll see what happens. Definitely can't wait to see just the 3-man agitators of Rondo, Beverly, and freaking Marcus Morris. Good God. Talk about dogs, man. And talk about agitators. Good heavens. Speaking on the injury front, again, we don't know when Serge or Pat Bev's coming back. Ty Lue before the game said he doesn't have a report or he doesn't know when they'll be ready. Again, Clippers have the worst medicals team in the NBA because ever since they got Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, apparently the organization's now going to be the whole, we're not telling nobody what's going on in the organization. Wonderful. It'd be nice to know what the progress is. If I can see Patrick Beverley walking around on the court, fine. Oh, good. He's fine to play. Just suit him up. We're paying him too much money to what? Sit on the bench and do nothing? But okay, fine. Injury purpose. Serge should already be back. I don't know what the hell's going on with Serge. You can miss 5 games, 2, 3, 4, 5 games of lower back tightness. Again, the Clippers have been doing good with these players out, but I would really like these players to come back because I'll need to see this continuity, this team get adjusted to one another, especially with Rondo coming on. Anyways, my last topic of the game recap that I want to say is I know it's not going to get to the Clipper beat reporters and nor would they care. And they could say how wrong I am for whatever they care. And I could care less. I said in my Rondo trade video anyways, if we don't win the chip or we don't get to the finals, or we don't get any farther than we did last year or in years past, which is past the second round, then okay, clown me. They can come tweet at me and make fun of me, people who are against the move too, about trading Lou, clown me. I'll 100%, take the fall and take the blame that, okay, the Rondo thing just didn't work out that we thought was going to work out, even though technically, he has 1 year left on his deal after this year too, and stuff like that. But, what I'm seeing on Twitter from the Clippers beat reporters, some Clipper fans have finally calmed down and have just accepted the fact, okay, we got Rondo. But it's really only the beat reporters of the Clippers that are essentially still haven't gotten over the freaking Rondo for Lou trade. And they're trying to give BS excuses like, well, the money and then the fact that you traded 2 picks away. Really? Really? And also, too, they're saying, well, you keep saying Rondo's going to get. Yeah, okay. We know Rondo will probably take Kennard's or Mann's minutes, but I still think, guess what? You don't know what Ty Lue can do. He can essentially, and honestly, it's like for the playoffs, that's what it's going to be pretty interesting because I feel like the Clippers, they might be the most unique team at the guard position when it comes to inserting guys. Because at some point, you don't know. You could get maybe Rondo playing a game, Patrick Beverly in the game a few times. You know, and then you have like maybe who's hot, who's cold. Between Reggie Jackson, Luke Kennard, and Terrance Mann. If one's cold, don't play them more than the other, and you just play the one that's rolling. Like I said, Luke Kennard, he wasn't really much of a factor this game when he came in, and he didn't really need to do anything else. So Ty Lue just said, you know what? You've been doing good as of late, but you're not needed in this game unless Terrance Mann stunk up the joint and stuff like that. And Terrance Mann, he didn't and stuff like that. And again, I'm just saying and asking the question to Clippers beat reporters, Rondo has yet to play a game. Like, why are we judging the man for something he hasn't done yet? Like, we gotta see this through. Like, we gotta see how this move is going through and how it happens in the future, especially in the playoffs. We just can't freaking rip the Clippers front office for trading for Rondo because I feel like Rondo gives them a better chance than Lue. They're the people in charge. They made the decisions. And guess what? You guys are going to have to deal with it like every other Clipper fan will deal with it, whether you like it or you hate the move. We all going to have to deal with it, and we're going to see at the end of the day, will this move live up to what we need? And, hey, my thing is this. Get to the conference finals. That is in a way, is a step for me saying we're moving in the right direction, and that Rondo move was validated. And if we get into the finals, hell, surprisingly shocking the world if it's Clippers versus Nets and win the entire thing, guess what? I'm going to keep the receipts from all those beat reporters. So I know who they are. I'm not going to specify who they are, but I know who they are. And I'm just going to tell them. I'll be the first person tweeting at all of them, be like, I thought you guys ripped the Rondo move. Guess what? We ended up winning the championship if that happens. So the Clippers beat reporters need to freaking calm the hell down. Like I saw one Clippers beat reporter say, man, what's the point in having Rondo when you have Reggie Jackson, Terrance Mann, and Luke Kennard all playing better than him? The dude hasn't even played a game yet, and we're all still judging him. And two, the beat reporters need to stop being so damn sentimental about Lou Williams. Oh, please. Lou Williams, yes, this season had occasional games where he was good. He had a game every now and then he was good, and we saw a glimpse of the old Lou Williams. The only problem was he was inconsistent. He would go one game, score 16 points for the team. Next game, he'd score 4 points and be a total detriment to the team. He was already a detriment to the team on the defensive side of the ball. And when it came to offensively, too, he would slow down the offense when we would get in a groove the moment he would touch the court. These Clipper beat reporters are being too damn sentimental and living in the moment of saying, oh, we traded Lou. Were these the same guys that were upset that we traded Shea? Were these the same guys that were upset that we traded Blake Griffin? I really want to know what their feelings were when we traded Blake Griffin. Were they feeling like this way when we traded Blake? When we traded Tobias? Were they feeling the same exact way? Oh, no. But because Lou Williams had a great career with the Clippers and he was one of the main essential factors of pulling us out of what we thought was going to be the dark days of Clippers era of basketball again. He made us respected. He made us, be a destination. And we're still sentimental about it. And I see these guys ripping other Clipper people who I know on Twitter saying, yada, yada, yada. It doesn't matter because they're only comparing the points per game scoring. Okay. Yeah. All right. Fine. They want to play like that. They want to be petty. They want to be sentimental about Lou Williams. They want to be crybabies. Like, till this day, they're still crying over a trade that happened like 3 days ago. It's been 3 days. Get over it. Like Lou Williams did. He thought about retiring. But you know what? He saw the praise he got from Clipper Nation and how much they thanked him for everything he did for them. And guess what? He's like, you know what? I still got something left in the tank. Get over it. Move on. It's the NBA. It's a business. Things like this happen. Sometimes you got to trade players away, good players you like and you revere, to get better. And I feel like Rondo makes this team better. He's got the leadership traits, he's got the IQ, and I guarantee you he's going to be a good, influence for this team going forward. But that's just my thoughts. So if you want to share this video to the Clipper reporters, I could care less. They can leave a comment in my comment section and say, you're just freaking BSing me. I'm not going to believe it. So I don't care. Again, I'm not going to specify who it is. I'll just say this. They know who they are. You should, if you're a Clippers fan, you should know what beat reporters I'm talking about. So, yeah, Clippers beat the 76ers, and we beat Doc, and Terrance Mann shows him why he should have been playing. Other than that, that's kind of it. So I'm going to get out of here. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day or night when you're trying this video. Until then, guys, I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.